Okay, it is 9:21 a.m. I haven't looked at the the percent gainers from the other day, but I will take a look today before the market opens. And I took a L my short selling account. It looks like I did break the PDT. I don't like how Charles Schwab doesn't really let you know how many day trades you can have left. And if I'm ever able to, if it happens in time within the 3 months, I'll just deposit enough money to get me out of that PDT restriction and then move all the money back the way it was. But right now I'm not able to do that. I don't know if I will in the next 3 months, but that's fine. I guess I can't short right now. And I probably deserve that for not being extra cautious on what accounts do I automatically log in. So AMC, GME, these are all just going to be watches, although GME is a bit boring. And if anything, I would consider this for a short setup, breaking under 200, not necessarily a long setup. So that's kind of out of the the mindsets that just something I don't want to really trade. AMC looks like it could do one of those breakouts if it keeps putting up higher lows. That would be nice. Although, yeah, GME is totally dying off. AMC is a primary stock. LWLG, this would be better to short, but it is starting to play games. There is some topping action around 7. I just can't short there anymore. Maybe I can still take a short, but it would have to be something where I hold it for longer than a day. I don't know if I want to do that. So then it's not a day trade. MJWL. Looks like a potential morning panic bounce play. This is the one that I missed the other day. I need to get better at just taking trades because there's no way I know if it works out or not. AMC, it didn't work out, but it could have worked out. I think it was back here, the inverse head and shoulders didn't work out, but I took the trade anyway, and that's all I have to do. DPLS, maybe we'll have a morning panic today because of the fact I had one in the afternoon. I'll be looking at PHIL for the same type of setup too. That's where I'm at the moment. I'll be looking at percent gainers, but that's really what I have in mind. The GME, I'm probably just going to remove this because it would be a short setup if anything. AMC could be a long setup if it just starts to uptrend and maybe try to break 70. LWLG, morning panic bounce play too, but I would have liked this more for a short. That's all I got for the moment. I don't mind not being able to short. After all, some of them are very frustrating to trade, and you get a lot of fake outs. That's where I'm at. It's just gonna be morning panic bounce plays for right now. Alright, 9:39 a.m. 9:40 now. This is perhaps like the first time I traded a morning panic bounce play correctly. Let's just go over all of my I had 2 trades, but let's just go over them. PHIL, this was my first attempt at buying a morning panic, not a morning panic, a morning spike. So my limit was 192 and that was 931. I didn't get executed. It actually blew, my order was on the ask, it just blew through it. It didn't get executed, and that's fine. 192 was that level, and then once it didn't get filled, it broke past 192. I said, alright, I'll just leave it alone. It looks like it got as high as 196, big red candle, and now it's just trying to continue an uptrend. Can it? It might. I mean, it had just one big green candle, and now today might be another one, or this might be the most it can do. And then after that, I tried buying GMER. I guess I canceled it. Just watching this one for a morning panic bounce play. And let's see, that was 9:33. So right here, this green candle, and I put my order at 2101. So I'm gonna guess I didn't get executed. I said, all right, maybe I missed the morning panic bounce play. Big red candle, big volume candle, then the next candle, the green candle, right? So I said, all right, I might have missed it, that's fine. So then looks like I got in at 9:34, which was right here, and that was that was 2,000 shares at 2099. So 9:34 right here and 2099. So give or take right here, and I was basically risking off the low, which was down there. So what happened? I sold because they broke the day low. Just cut losses quickly. 935.47. So right here, and I sold at 2036. So right here, I sold right here. I bought right about here. So I bought right here in this candle, and then I sold, give or take, right here because it just cracked the day low. At least that's what happened. Although I guess when it cracked the day low, also uptrending, and I sold into that tiny uptrend. And then once I saw that it wasn't really heading much further, it wasn't having another leg down, it wasn't choking or anything like that. It wasn't just downtrending some more, panicking more, making another big volume candle. That's when I went ahead and I bought at 937 right here, and I got in at 202, which was right here. That looks like a very sick entry. 202, right? Yeah, 202. Right, 202. I got in at 937. This was the same position size. It could have went larger, but I didn't want to. And my idea here was pretty much risking not just really the lows here, but risking the round number of 20 cents. So that was the idea there. And so yeah, my entry was here, and my goal was to sell towards VWAP, and that's what happened. I sold at 2193, which was at 939 right here at this doji candle. I sold just right above VWAP, if not touching VWAP. And then we had some sketchiness in that candle that happened later, I think. Then I guess here a blank candle, maybe that was just a chart. Yeah, still volume is fading, but this candle would have maybe messed with me. And then it's playing a bit choppy right now. I mean, it got a high as 22, but I don't mind with my sell at 2193. 22.5. So I'm actually, this is the first time I've actually traded a morning panic bounce play. Like, I bought well at the bottom. It didn't work out initially. I did cut one of the trades. If I held this one, I guess I would have been profitable still. Yeah, I would have been profitable still, but I learned that's not a good thing, because had this broken to 20 cents, my first buy there would have been super bad. Just to compare my, okay, if it lets me, yeah, my percent loss was roughly like 2.9%, and this one that worked out was 8%, 8.5%. It just made the difference. So yeah, it looks like I'm profitable, maybe 20 something. Could have bought a larger size and risked 20, but I didn't want to do that because it could have made a leg down. But maybe in the future I'd consider it. But I'm really happy that this is like the first actual morning panic bounce play that I trade well. I don't mind not selling into this 22 level, because this is starting to get some sketchy price action. I sold right at that VWAP level, which you can see a lot of these play off of pretty well. There's nothing else that I'm too interested in. I was watching MJWL on the other screen, but it's a bit too choppy. I'm going to be looking for more setups. Maybe some of these, like DPLS, will drop towards VWAP. Although this one's a bit sketchy because they had that big panic yesterday. So I'll be looking for more setups. I'm happy that I traded one of these actually kind of well. And yeah, we'll see how it goes from here. Alright, it's 9:55. I am considering DPLS, and might hold 7 pennies. But I'm not going to really trade this because it did have that morning panic the other day. So, I mean, it could totally hold 7 pennies right here, but what I want to see is a big volume candle for me to consider it at 7 pennies, like something that breaks the previous max volume. There's a lot of support. It could actually do it right here, and I'm just being too scared, but I do have an idea and intention of trading this perhaps. It's not perfect because it's not really right at the morning, but still. Okay, 950. Yeah, I did try in and out, but I got out because I just didn't like the price action. There was a humongous seller. I forgot the exact price. I think it was, I don't know, 702. There was a big person on the ask. So many shares were going through. So many big streaks of green blocks were going through. and it just was not breaking that level at all. And I did not want to be a part of something like this where it just cracks 7, and everybody who went long this thinking that it's going to hold 7 pennies, all of that size that it absorbed is just going to be people screaming to get out when it cracks. So I actually lost just 2 pennies here. I traded a small position of $200, and I actually bought and sold at the same price, but I guess some tiny difference with, like something very further back into the price entry, made a small difference there. But I think that was a good attempt. I got out because I didn't like the price action, and I didn't want to be a part of this if it was going to happen. I'll consider this only if it has like a big volume candle that's larger than the previous one. It wasn't an exact science, but it could have held 7. It didn't. I got in and out at the same price basically. Not a bad trade if you ask me. Not a bad attempt at least to just try, because it could have held this 7 level pretty nicely. And if you look at a 1-day chart, right, it's also give or take the holding level here, holding level here. I guess that's why so much buying was going on here, but it wasn't enough to break through. Now, could this be like oh, it just cracked 7 pennies, max panic, selling, blah blah blah, holds very nicely, gets back to 7 pennies? Totally. I might do that, I might consider it, but given how it traded yesterday, it might just continue to head down. Although I don't think it really had one of these green uptrends. Yeah, I guess at some point it did. It's just gonna be a watch. Could totally work out from here. Could totally be like a buy. Maybe if it makes another the next candle, it kind of drops to the 6-7 level, or maybe the 6-8, yeah, or maybe the 6-7s. Kind of shows some kind of a consolidation, and then it can uptrend, sure, but then 7 pennies is gonna be resistance. So probably just gonna not trade this, because anybody who got here who didn't sell in this downtrend, they might be trying to sell for break even at 7 pennies. But in theory, it could work out that just max panic, blah blah blah, you take a buy and it spikes past it. Maybe I'll just watch to see what it does, because I am a bit conflicted. I'll just learn from it. But we're already at 7 pennies. Let's see. There might be a lot of people on the ask. I don't know. This will be a learning experience. Alright, it's 10:03. It looks like it is doing nice. It is at 7.25 from that 7.0 level. So I actually looked back in the chat. Tim actually went long, I think, right here at 6.7. That was the idea. A lot of people, especially me, considered a trade, see if it can hold 7 pennies. I got out because I didn't like the price action. It just reminds me of a lot of times it breaks a certain level, just constant dumping on the bid, and very strong ask that is not being taken out. Goes down, panic, 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 right? Doesn't show that it's going to panic much more. We have a green candle, and I guess this is when you can go long here at this green candle, 6.7, and risk off 6.64 potentially. And now we just have this uptrend. Very surprising that there were not a lot of people just dumping their shares at the bid when it was at 7 pennies, or a lot of people on the ask. I'd be considering taking profits if I was long this setup right here at 74, because that is the VWAP level right here. I would just be taking profits. It could go to 79, who cares? I'd be selling right here at this VWAP level, right above it. That's really nice. It worked out here. It wasn't a perfect morning panic bounce play because it happened later. I had a spike first, but it's not the first time DPLS has done this. That's pretty cool. I'm going to save a screenshot of it. I guess maybe update my screenshot that I'll use for my trades so I look smarter. But no, that was a cool setup. I think Tim is still long it. I'll make an update later. And as for the other stocks, MJWL looks like it's gonna have another leg down. If it's clean, I might consider it. The dropping looks clean, but it doesn't have like big volume candles. GMER, wow, that's cool. It got to 23, so it kind of held below VWAP. I said as before, a lot of these, it gets past VWAP, downtrends below it, and then it rips higher. This one did that, but I don't regret myself because it trades a bit choppy. If it had more volume, maybe, I would have considered it. LWLG is downtrending. PHIL. I saw this too, but I don't know. This one just it's not. I don't like the daily chart so much. Yeah, I would have sold at the 74 level, but this one could just, downtrend a little under VWAP and keep uptrending later. WSRC is a new one. Maybe I'll consider a buy towards, like a dip buy towards VWAP or something like that, but that's not an exact science. I might trade small because that's not a setup I'm too familiar with, but that's where I'm at the moment. Alright, it is 10:11. This thing is bouncing around, trading around the VWAP level. In theory, I could take a buy and risk the 727 level. I don't know, it might be the turnaround because I'm just hesitating really. I could just risk off of that level. 727, this thing could rip through VWAP. It's obviously 3-to-1 risk reward. If I take a buy at 7.3, I risk, just whatever that is, 3 ticks, and it can totally go 9 levels from here. Especially if it breaks out, maybe gets to 7.6. There is a lot more people on the ask, it seems like, but I don't know, I'm really just hesitating. I could just try to trade a tiny position, something super tiny, even smaller than this. I could just say that, just to say I traded it, right? 1,000 shares will probably execute easier, even if it's a tiny position. I might just get in the trade immediately. It fails and then whatever, but I can at least say I tried. I guess anybody who bought back here, held through this, might even consider selling now because it's not doing anything. It's a 500k seller at 74. Alright, here's a crack. Yeah, I'd be cutting losses if it gets lower. That was a close one. Normally these things are a bit more stable. I don't like how much dumping there is. Reminds me of this right here, although this is a bit better. As in, it's not as bad. $726 is potentially on the bid. I don't think I'll take the trade just because there's a lot of dumping and there is a lot of people on the ask, but in theory this thing could totally work out. If I miss out because I'm too chicken, that's fine. I would cut losses if it just cracks the 726 level in a very sketchy way, but yeah, I'd actually would get out. These things tend to be a lot tighter. They tend to trade a lot better. If I look at MJWL, for example, this was very tight. This holding, it didn't like just play around and just kind of crack under this level right here. It did, crack around the top part, which isn't bad. That's actually kind of good, right? Because then it shows that maybe the the wall of sellers isn't that strong, and then it pulled off this move, right? I don't know how much higher it got from here, but it did get higher. And yeah, this isn't the same, so I'd probably just cut the trade right here. I never got in the trade, but I'd cut it right here actually, even if it works out later, just because it's not trading perfectly. The ceiling is very tight, but this bottom part isn't, and I don't like that. So I'll make an update to see what it ultimately does, but I'd be out of this trade if I were in it. Okay, it is 10:29 a.m. and I'm gonna call it off right here. I'll probably make an update after the market closes, but I have a lot of work to catch up on, and I don't want to ruin the day, you know, the green day here. I don't want to try to trade something stupid and then, you know, be upset. So DPLS is doing this super sketchy symmetrical triangle thing. You can see this is from yesterday, this is today. It's putting up higher lows and it's putting up lower highs. Although this wasn't an exact science. It could totally make a run up. It could spike up like crazy. It could also head down. I think it's more likely it's gonna go up just because of this level right here. Super sketchy looking thing. That's one thing I'll be looking forward to seeing, you know, Lord willingly, if this thing just blew up or not. LWLG, this one could collapse. I will miss this one if it does it today, but quite frankly, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't short sell anymore because I messed up. And, you know, I did the PDT thing. I broke the PDT rule. I didn't know how many. There's no way, at least, you know, maybe there is a way on the website, but I couldn't easily see how many day trades I have available. So that's what happened there. WSRC, I was considering it for a dip buy towards VWAP. I never really did that here. I might do it later, but I won't be there for it. GMER did do that uptrend here. I had my sell here. My buy was right here. And it did get to that 23 level. It did drop below VWAP a little and then uptrend. That was nice. You know, I wasn't really wanting to trade and wait through that because you see the volume isn't there. If the volume was nicer, maybe I would have considered it. Let's see, MJWL, nothing. AMC. I mean, it's just trading back and forth in the same range. PHIL looks like it did a double bottom here. I don't really trade double bottoms. Yeah, that's all I got, just out of curiosity. GME is at that 200 level. Oh, never mind, 219. Okay, yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm just gonna call it off. I'll make an update to see how things, you know, did later in the day, especially DPLS, what that sketchy triangle looking thing is doing, and LWLG if it makes a panic today. That's all I got. I have a lot of things to catch up with, but I'm pretty happy with the trading. You know, in the future, maybe I would have considered this, but because I've seen that before and I've traded that before, but I just didn't do it here, and that's totally fine. I think it was nonetheless pretty good. I'm just happy I actually, you know, for the first time I actually nailed one of these, just like actually did it like really nicely, you know. So I'm really thankful to God for that. We'll see what happens later, if it's going to be nice or not with DPLS and LWLG. Alright, it is 8:10 p.m. and I just want to go over and review all the stocks and see what happened afterwards. I did, while I was working, just fulfilling orders, see this WSRC continue the uptrend. This is really nice. I think the last time one of these happened was like, I don't know, was it BPSR? It was one of these, and it just ran like that for more than one day. That was pretty impressive. WSRC up 800%. Even had like a sketchy, this would have been sketchy to buy because of how much it was up. You know, dip buy towards VWAP. That was a nice run towards there. Should have maybe considered looking at this one a bit longer. You know, this one has a lot of that SPI type of price action where it just never touches the VWAP throughout the entire morning, and it just trades with so much volume. Let's just see, the VWAP is at 15.35, so let's just see 15.35, and let's just times it by this number right here. $29 million of volume. That's super impressive. So yeah, this was it. This was a very nice runner. GMER was at dip buy, and I did actually pretty well. It did get to the 23s, but not too much. You know, it was after it had that drop after it broke VWAP a little, which is something I've seen a lot. It looks like it downtrended the rest of the day. Maybe there's going to be support at the 16 level, who knows. MJWL is downtrending, no opportunity. LWLG is still holding, although it doesn't look very nice. This looks really good for a short, but I can't short right now. Not anymore. DPLS, it looks like it had that panic, right? The one that broke under 7, and that was about it. It put like a higher low from this level here. I don't know if I would have traded that. Besides that, that was pretty much the end of it. AMC is trying to uptrend. Nothing here really to say I was too interested in. PHIO only went up 11%. I guess it did have a panic later in the day. I wouldn't have traded that, but it did it. And yeah, WSRC. So I'm going to call it off. I'm really happy that I had a trade here with GMER, that I tried it, and I actually traded this one, at least in my opinion, pretty nicely. You know, hopefully I can continue to get better and see more consistency. And what was that other trade? That other trade was DPLS. That attempt, it just didn't hold 7, and I was, you know, I think I traded it well, cutting it early, not wanting to be a part of a panic, and just seeing just horrible price action and the huge stuff. Just a lot of people on the ask, and just it was just 18,000 sheller, right? And he just will not get taken out. So yeah, just a good trading day. I look forward to tomorrow, God willingly, and I'll just have to keep going at it. But I'm really happy. I hope I can keep being more consistently good at these types of setups. At least, you know, if anything, I can just keep trying to get better with more experience.